Welcome back to the channel, everyone. And as you can see in front of me, there's a lot of colors today. I've got some nice basil leaves, I've got some fresh tomato, and this is because spring and summer is coming in France and all around some part in the northern hemisphere. So when comes the summer, there's always that question about dressing, sauces, and what can you actually pair with your food. And one of the sauces we haven't covered is called the sauce Vierge, which is a sauce that has been put on the map by a chef called Michel Guérard, and technically it is actually a dressing. Now, Michel Guérard believes in this garden fresh type of flavor and a nouvelle cuisine type of signature. Okay, so it is not your everyday dressing. They're very simple to make, but the big difference with other dressing is that this can be served cold, but most of the time it is actually a warm dressing. So if you want to discover how to make that magnificent simple sauce, keep watching. So if you've never heard about the sauce vierge, you may be wondering, what does it mean? First off, sauce vierge is translated as the virgin sauce. Why is it called the virgin sauce? Because it uses extra virgin oil. This is the first definition. For the rest, behind that meaning, I think the chef refers to the untouched nature of all of the ingredients. The main one, garden tomatoes, and then we've got these garden herbs. I've got tarragon and basil, but you can use chive, you can use chervil, parsley, anything you want. There's gonna be some shallots, some garlic, so of course, south of France. This is from the south of France, always a sunny touch to the sauce. And for the acidity, we've got either lemon juice or balsamic vinegar. And this is, I think, the interesting point of that sauce, that a lot of chefs are using that sauce because you can vary the product slightly, you can vary the herbs, you can vary the vinegars, you can vary the types of lemon or lime you want to use, and you can make this warm or cold. This is why it's called a sauce, because there's a lot of options going on. So you'll find all the ingredients we're going to be using here on the video description. And I'm going to show you today how to make the warm version of that sauce, which I actually like because it's a kind of a confit of tomatoes that we're going to flavor with these simple flavors, the herbs and everything. It's absolutely beautiful. And now let's start the sauce. So it is exciting to craft a sauce. I really love this crafting of sauces because it is so interesting to use all of these flavorings. So mise en place wise, first you're going to have to peel and seed your tomatoes and chop them here in little cubes. You're going to have to thinly dice as well your shallot, crush the garlic and put it in a little bit of olive oil. Now I'm bringing the attention here to that little bowl here because I'm going to add something extra, which is coriander seeds. And using one of these peelers, I'm just going to press them, crush them, and we're going to add this into the oil. And the first step consists of warming up the oil and flavor it with garlic, shallots, and here coriander, but coriander seed. If you want to go further, you can even roast these things to add a nice roasty intonation into your oil. Once you got all your ingredients ready, like I've got here, all the mise en place, we're going to go on the stove. You're going to use a saucepan, and we're going to use a low to medium heat maximum. And we're going to flavor the oil because flavoring here is the name of the game. So we're going to start with the garlic, with the olive oil in here, all of the olive oil, followed by all the other ingredients. We're going to follow with all of the shallots, the coriander. So the coriander, it's up to you. I like a little pinch, not too much because it's quite strong. And you finish with all of the tomatoes. So perhaps now you understand why this is called a sauce rather than a dressing. So make sure the heat is not too high. And with a spoon, we're going to blend everything. And there's no raging boil here or anything. Everything has to stay very delicate. And we're going to cook this on a very low heat. Now I'm going to reduce my heat slightly for 5 to 6 minutes. It's been 6 minutes. I'm going to turn my heat off immediately. Okay, and as you can see, it didn't turn into some kind of tomato sauce. And immediately we're going to add a good tablespoon of a beautiful organic balsamic vinegar, followed by the herbs. So I've got about 2 tablespoons of herbs. The majority I'm using here is basil, thinly sliced, with a little bit of tarragon. But that's, again, it's up to you. You can use any herbs you want, the equivalent of 2 tablespoons. And I'm going to leave this to sit for 2 or 3 minutes. And here we have it. So after a few minutes, basically the temperature is not as hot as it was. You can actually have that kind of lukewarm temperature that you want, and this is where you're going to adjust the seasoning at the end. So of course what you're going to need, a good grind of salt, a grind of pepper to adjust the seasoning, and a little bit of sugar to just correct the acidity, but you don't want to overdo it, and then you mix well. So once the seasoning is in, you are done, and with the temperature, it emulsifies while I'm turning with my spoon. Look at this, it's almost like a coulis of tomato, slightly warm, and this flavor of herbs in there. I love the freshness, and the coriander really, for me, adds something. If you want to go further, a little bit of lemon, that can happen, and most important, you need to taste. Don't forget that. So you take a spoon, okay, I think, hint of salt, and a bit more pepper. So when I say correct the seasoning, it is adjusting the salt and pepper level to your taste, something that you like. And basically, we are done. The sauce vierge is now ready. We're gonna let it rest here because the more you leave it to infuse, the more flavor you're gonna get, okay? You can leave it to rest until it's cold if you want, or serve it lukewarm. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna grill a little piece of snapper, I think, make a plating, and just show you a serving suggestion, and we'll wrap up the video. And here we are. So this is the plating, and I think I like to plate when I'm hungry. I haven't eaten yet. This is going to be my lunch, and I've grilled a piece of snapper, and I've sprinkled a little bit of the spring onions here as the diced tomatoes that I had some extra, the sauce vierge, and some rocket from the garden, and it's a nice effect and a nice little warm lunch. When you want something a bit light, something easy to eat, and that's really going to have that taste. And let me tell you what, that sauce has improved since I've been waiting. In the last 10 minutes, it just gets more and more flavor. It's like a magical sauce, and I think it's going to become the sauce to make this spring and summer. But that's it for me, guys. As always, if you want to follow me, do so on Facebook, on Patreon. You can share your picture if you make the dish on Instagram, hashtag French Cook Academy. And don't forget, if you want to learn more about sauces, we've just released a brand new courses with more than 30 sauces and all the techniques that goes with the French sauce making. And that's it. I'll see you all next week for another video on the French Cook Academy. Take care all. Bye-bye.